Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show increases the live audience, of course, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you are new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Sleeping Warrior. How are you doing? Take your time on the mute button. Or maybe he's busy. Who knows?
Oh. Sorry, I didn't realise I was on mute.
No
all's good, mate. All's good. How are you?
Very well, very well. No
Found any curve yet?
Have I found any curve? No, hell no. No proof of R. No proof of a self-perpetuating molten iron core. No proof of gravity.
No.
No proof of anything globe-related.
No proof of a pressurized environment that existed next to a vacuum environment without a membrane.
No, no proof of that.
No proof of a three-dimensional spherical moon. No proof of a three-dimensional spherical sun. Basically, there's not a lot of proof of anything, is there? We're kind of stuck inside.
No, we're not doing too well in terms of scientific proof of things, that's for sure.
No, it's got to the point where it's almost getting ridiculous that these ballers still believe the nonsense. I got a message responding to a message of mine from that really lovely guy, that really nice guy. What's his name? Flat Earth Math.
Oh yeah.
I'd put put in a comment on something, and he responded and he said, and I'll read what he said. It's embarrassing. Let's get into it now. It said, my response was, John's point was that there is no scientific method to prove the shape of the Earth regardless of its sphericity or flatness, because the things that you need to manipulate to prove causation cannot be manipulated. You are obfuscating John's whole point to reduce his point to a state of triviality. And his response was, yes, since when you force science into the tiny little thimble that John has constructed, that is true. He then said, do you believe science knows the lethal dose of cyanide for children? Not according to Quantum Eraser, because the only way to do science is to perform an experiment where you manipulate things. Good luck feeding doses of cyanide to children to figure that one out. If you want to throw John's straitjacket out the window and permit scientific observation, then you can see quite readily that the Earth is a globe. It's painfully obvious if you just pay attention to all the clues and don't restrict yourself to blurry things right on the horizon. And I was like, what are you talking about? If it's glaringly obvious and it's that easy to do, why are we still here? Why does Nathan think it's a ball? Why does Nathan think it's a flat plane? Why do I agree with Nathan? Why are we struggling finding the evidence to satisfy ourselves? Is it that our burden is too high, or is it that their burden is too low? It's embarrassing that somebody like that really nice guy, Flat Earth Math, would think this. And it's really bad that me and Nathan are the result of a system that essentially has failed. Because if it is a ball and they're unable to prove it to the satisfaction of two morons like me and Nathan, then that's not boding well, is it? We've been in this game long enough to work out that there should be more evidence. And there isn't any evidence. It's ridiculous, yet math still tells people that we live in a sphere. How ridiculous.
Indeed. So we're not claiming to be backed by science. If we were, I'm pretty sure there would be an easy way to formulate a scientific hypothesis based on observations and then do experiments. However, with no backing from any scientific body whatsoever, how are we ever going to reach that stage? Stage one is show the people at large that what you currently have and accept is wrong. That's the first step.
Yep.
No alternative required at this stage.
Correct.
Doesn't change my belief, doesn't change what I will state. The Earth is obviously and observably flat. That is obvious. However, a lot of people in the Western world are under this crazy delusion that they're on a spinning ball. Now, that is the first thing that needs to change. And the way to change it is to show where science does not back that assertion at all.
And the other thing, of course, is that Rancy's got some really cool observations recently. And he's been doing it from like a foot off the surface of the water. If Rancy's getting 18-mile observations that are the opposite of what Soundly shows, then you have to make a decision. Do you accept Soundly or do you accept Rancy? Now, at the end of the day, it's evidence for the sake of evidence, regardless of the personality. Sure, Rancy might have made a mistake along the way. I'm pretty certain that he will make more mistakes. We all do. However, at the end of the day, if we live on a ball, Rancy's observation and Soundly's observation should match. Rancy's got a sharp chisel edge horizon with features like windows that you can pick out. Soundly has got a horizon that looks like it's just been through a blender, literally all mashed up, all shimmering and miraging and bending back on itself. And we can repeat that phenomena. We can repeat that effect. And we can prove that it is an effect. It's not actual. It's caused by weird stuff. Yet people still choose to believe Soundly over Rancy. Really? It's ridiculous. I just don't know how these morons on the ball side can still keep accepting or dismissing the flatness.
Yep, well, that's part of the game. If you've been brainwashed, lied to, it's very difficult to convince that person that they've been brainwashed and lied to.
It's bad as well that all the ballers are keeping away because on the one hand, there must be some kind of protest going on the way, but on the other hand, it's obvious that the reason why they're keeping away is because they can't explain why it looks so flat. Because you can only bend light so much, and it's minuscule, it's negligible. Yet they still push it. I still hear Rumpus telling people that you can hire a theodolite and go to the horizon, go to the beach, point it at the horizon, and calculate with one simple sum the shape of the Earth or the radius of the Earth. And he still does that, even though he knows that it's an apparent horizon and he's been shown that it's not a real physical horizon. He still pushes it.
It's ridiculous. On the backup channel. So when you did the demonstration for him, I can't remember if it was exactly this shot, but one of the shots that Ranty had was of a runner on air. You know, he's obviously above the horizon and he's not going to be just above it. He's going to be on land. Obviously, he's not flying. He's not Superman. But that's the thumbnail I use for the repeats of this show. So they go onto the backup channel each day after they've done, maybe 12 hours later. And I've just used the same thumbnail over and over again with that guy flying above the horizon. He's not. He's just jogging. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. But Rumpus is still telling people that you can calculate the radius of the Earth with one simple sum and a theodolite at the horizon. And he knows that it's not true. He knows that the horizon can be either a fata brumosa, which makes it look higher than it is, or it can be an inferior mirage of the sky and make it look lower than it is. Yet he still tells people that you can calculate the radius of the Earth with one simple sum, and he can't. That can only be seen as being dishonest. I don't know why he would tell people that you can do something that he knows is fallacious. Yet he's the one out there all the time telling people all the nonsense, and people still accept it because it's the official narrative.
Yep.
Science, yet they still can't prove it.
Consensus only. I mean, that's it. That's the most pathetic way of saying, oh yeah, we know it's a globe-shaped Earth. How? Well, we went to the beach with a theodolite. It's like, that's pathetic.
Yeah. And the other thing is I saw you sent out a link last night for a 2.5-year-old debate that John had, Quantum Eraser, with the Rumpus. And I didn't know the age of it. When I found out the age of it, I was shocked because it sounds like it was like 3 days ago because John's position hasn't changed at all. Rumpus is still doing the stuttering, stammering buffoon that he is when he gets cornered. But somehow he always manages to twist it into some kind of victory on his part. And it's bad because when you watch it back in hindsight now, from the time, Rumpus lost. Bad style. He's cornered. He's stammering. He's stuttering. He's fumbling for his words. And John's literally ripping him a new one. Yet somehow, Rumpus comes out of that telling people that he basically was successful. And the ballers read that he was successful. And I'm like, nah, I've just realised that you ballers will never accept anything that's contrary to your opinion, no matter how strong it is. Dawn Treader claims that it would take extraordinary... It would take extraordinary evidence for him to be satisfied that the Earth may not be a ball. Well, I don't think he'd ever accept extraordinary evidence, even if it was extraordinary, because I think he's that brainwashed he can't work it out himself.
Well, after a couple of days arguing with him, he accepted that there should actually be a measurable curve on the horizon after spending days saying we were liars. And then he just flip-flopped and was like, oh yeah, well, if it's in the calculation, then that's cool, I can accept that. Like, my God, you're the biggest sheep out there.
Yeah. He is a big sheep. He said to me that he's happy to believe in the curve. So I gave him that picture, which was the two kiosks. One was comforting lies, and the other one was painful truths, or flat earth truths, uncomfortable truths, or something like that. And he's happy, and he basically denies that he's in that queue, but he is. He's in that queue, and he's happy with the comforting lies.
You still there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, but like I said earlier, it's easier to convince somebody that it's easy to lie to somebody than it is to convince them they've been lied to.
Yeah, but he's seen all the evidence though himself. He knows what the evidence is.
Maybe.
Yeah, he still pushes the it would take extraordinary evidence. What you mean, to defy the laws of perspective so that you can see the Isle of Man, the Eiffel Tower from wherever he lives.
Hey, Alan.
Hello, boys.
Have you?
Any ice cream today, Alan? The weather's good.
I'm sat in the garden in my pants with a baked potato.
Too much information there.
Sorry.
So do you join a hangout on your phone?
Yes.
Have you found any curvature recently, Alan?
Have you?
None. Nothing. Not a bean.
You measured R?
Nope. Not found out to find it, no.
Is it on Google Maps?
Oh, speaking of Google Maps, if you go onto Google Maps now rather than Google Earth, if you measure out the distance between two distant towns, it does it on the Great Circle route now instead of a straight line. That's only changed in the last week.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Very.
Hello, trolls. Fuck you too.
Language?
It's not me, it's the troll.
Yeah, Great Circle route hasn't been enabled on the Google Earth, which I find interesting. What are you eating, Alan? You sound like you're eating ice cream.
Baked potato, Tony.
Oh, I heard you say that before, but I didn't quite... I thought you said that. I didn't quite catch it because I think you dropped it. The little sound bite was missing and I thought you said baked potato.
Not like you to miss the details.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch it. Have you got any stuffing in it or is it just a potato?
Just cheese.
It's the best one, that. Bit of tuna as well, it's good.
Not at the same time.
Yeah, tuna and cheese. Yeah, in a baked potato. It's fab.
You're weird.
Yeah, it's lovely though.
I get drunk this weekend. Don't normally drink. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, because Liverpool are playing Real Madrid in the Champions League Cup final, aren't they? You mean?
I don't care.
I know.
Let's guess where Nathan's going. I'm saying wedding.
Wedding? No, I'm going to the beach.
Going to Ibiza?
The beach.
Anyway, shout out to Ute.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm missing. I'm missing the chat.
Could do some of the shout outs while we're...
FE Cult Exposer.
Ah, lost my whole panel in the split second. Anthony was trying to get his chat up. Ah, short interlude. Fun, fun, fun. How many times we'll do this little dance today? Yeah, there's only low numbers because I've put the link out really late. Just forgot to do it actually. But on top of that, I've started the show about an hour early. Just things. I'm sure the numbers will pick up if you share the show. Of course, everybody shares the show, don't they? Excuse me. Moment, and I will put the link out in Skype. In Master B chat. Done. Hopefully we'll get a few guests back in a moment. Let's just give Anthony. There you go, Anthony. You've got the link on Skype. Yeah, and a couple more places, and then I won't publish the link publicly for a few minutes.
Yo.
Hello again.
Yeah, may as well put the link out.
Got the back door.
I'm just getting into it.
Someone just literally waited for you to say, "Oh, just go and get the chat open," so they knew you were on a different window.
I saw them come in and I thought, I couldn't remember whether that was friend or foe. This is why people get accidentally sniped when they join. Because I have to try and remember whether they're friend or foe or not.
But often when it's just somebody who's watched the show more than once, they'll just join and go, it's me, don't kick me, something to that effect. Silent ones just get kicked immediately. Shout outs while it's quiet. Slow start to the show. As it always will be, we're asking for difficult things here. Difficult things. Ah, very difficult for ballers.
Yeah, and the funny thing is as well, the more we ask for it, the more they keep away and then pretend that it's because you're a cunt. And you're like, yeah, he might be a cunt, but at the end of the day, he's right.
Shout out to Searching for Oneness. See you. Alan B, hello. Although we've said hello on the show. Sarah, good to see you. Physics Warrior, good to have you here. Nick, good to see you. Just Ask.
It's not good to see Nick.
He's watching the show. Thank you, Nick. Glad you're here, my friend. Thank you for watching. Please continue to comment.
Enjoy yourself on the block list.
Block list?
Yeah, I blocked him and Matt Taylor now. I've given up on him.
Oh, right. Correct answers, good to see you. Riley can't do a PhD. Thanks for being here. Slam Free Poetry. Nice to see you. My View 1875 says Liverpool FC. Yay! Wit, thanks for being here. FE Viking, nice to see you. Big shout out to legendary looming non-standard refraction hyena. Big Bill G. See you as well. Everyone.
Have you sorted out the notepad of outstanding items of outstanding evidence?
We've done it already. We did that right at
I
the
know.
beginning.
We should have an on-screen thing, like get a notepad or something, some kind of on-screen memo that can always be there, so that people can continuously see that this evidence is still outstanding, and it has been for some time.
Yeah,
Especially
I'm
Paul
happy
Voigt.
to reiterate at the beginning of every show. We used to just ask anyone found any curve, anyone got any proof of R, anyone got any evidence of a pressurized system next to a vacuum. You know, it will continue. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core?
Yeah. That is what we need. We need a WordPad document with the list. There's about 8 things on it that we're currently waiting for, and the people that link to them as well. So, like for instance, Paul Voigt with the molten iron core that self-perpetuates its own charge. That's one thing that we're waiting for. No evidence of it. Can we get the trolls in? The quicker we get them in, the quicker they can be controlled. So no, do you want to come in and then just get bummed?
Give me a sec.
Any evidence of R? Oh, there's a new guy on the scene.
Oh yeah, who's that?
I don't know his name. I've been told of him. I don't know who he is. He just claims, his claim is that he can prove that we live on a ball better than John, Quantum Eraser, can prove that we don't.
Okay.
Sounds a bit convoluted, but basically he thinks we live on a ball. So he's been invited in, but I don't know whether he'll come in yet. I think he's a little bit tentative because, well, your reputation precedes you a little bit. I've promised him we'll be nice, though.
Who are you talking about? Whose reputation precedes them?
Yours.
Me? I haven't got a reputation to have.
Well,
what reputation?
I don't know what the guy's name is, though. Sarah knows. Is she in? Sarah, what's his handle? So we know who he is. Ruhif wants to join. He went out to do an experiment today. Yeah, he went out to see some mountains from Sydney, right? And he said that he couldn't see them because he wasn't high enough. And I said, how do you know it's not because you weren't high enough? How do you know it wasn't because it wasn't a clear enough day? So that's what I'll be asking him now.
Because it's the only variable that he needs if he's trying to prove a globe, right? All the rest of the variables can be ignored.
Yeah. And then I'll be criticising him for why he didn't get in a hot air balloon and do the elevation and then come back with the evidence, you know, the disproportionately unreasonable requests that we get for why we didn't get stuff. And then we'll look at it and we'll laugh at a blurred horizon.
Yeah, we'll say it's down to his camera control.
Yeah, and we'll laugh at it no matter how good or bad it may be. We'll laugh at it and we'll find fault with it and we'll call it a smudge.
Hey, Alan.
Hi. Tony, can you hear the high screen, man?
No. Oh, I can now.
What do you want?
I'll have a nice diner, please,
with
the sherbet and raspberry.
Nice one.
I had you turned right up, Alan, just so we could do the ice cream van, and then you came blasting out.
Yeah.
Hi, Plain Truth.
Early show.
A little bit.
I really want an ice cream now. I can hear that. I tell you what, they're not bloody cheap, are the ice creams these days?
Nothing's cheap.
No.
I feel like an old git every time I go into a shop and see like a chocolate bar for about 70p. I'm like, 10p? What do you mean 70p? And why is it a third of the size it used to be?
The only one that's like decent sized is the double decker, which used to be small when we were kids, but they seem to have got bigger compared to everything else getting smaller around it.
Every time I look at anything chocolate related, I just think of 1984 when they're talking about the chocolate rations with double speak, saying that the chocolate ration will increase, and then they go and actually get it and the chocolate ration's decreased. And it's a bit like that when you go to the shops. You're like, Oh wow, a pack of 4 double-deckers, or let's not use double-deckers, 4 flakes, only £1. Wow, that's good value. And then you open one, it's like it's a third of a flake. It's like, what's this? Fun size? Where does it say that on the packet? Anyway.
I did a comprehensive study of my pound shop.
Oh yeah.
The chocolate bars are specially made for the shop, and they're considerably smaller.
I'll bet.
Daylight robbery.
It's like, have you seen these grab-sized bags of crisps for £1, and you open them and it's just full of air? There's like a bit of dust at the bottom, and they call it crisps. It's ridiculous.
Yep, that was our grumpy old men bit. Got that pegged.
So Tony, do you watch 24 Hours in Police Custody?
Nah, I don't watch TV anymore.
Why not?
Just in case I see myself on Crime Watch. Because there's nothing to watch. It's all crap. It's all ball-earth rhetoric nonsense about this ball that we're supposed to live on. It's ingrained in pretty much every program.
Every program?
Apart from like Coronation Street and stuff.
Hey, I got a question real quick. You know the clip that gets played on different mirrors that shows where they reveal that the maps aren't to scale and everything's not where it's supposed to be, and those two people are sitting on the couch and they're like getting their minds blown.
The West Wing.
Do you know what show that was originally from?
West Wing.
I thought so. I've been trying to find it, but I can't find that clip anywhere, to watch the actual episode itself. But I was just curious.
I've never seen the show. I just know from people who've mirrored it on various YouTube videos that it's from the West Wing, but I've never seen that show and have no idea what the show's about.
Right. Yeah. I never watched it when it was on in the 90s, but I figured that's what it was. But all right. Thanks.
Yeah, just for the audience's benefit, there's a scene in the West Wing where employees are sat down and they're having it explained to them that I think it's the Gull Peters he's got up. I can't remember exactly which square, either Makeda or Gull Peters, one or the other. He's got it up and he's explaining that the land masses aren't representative of the actual sizes. That's right, yeah, he starts with the Makeda and then goes on to the Gull Peters and says, here's the actual sizes of the land masses. And the stuff isn't where you think it is either, and then he explains how the latitude system works.
Ruhif's trying to get in, but he's having problems. He can't. He wants to get in on Skype, but we're not in on Skype at the minute. Oh,
here we go.
I'll tell you what, Nath, if you want to try and, rather than try and eject, let me do the eject part of it. You try and do the bit where they get blocked.
No,
you see it?
I don't have that feature. It doesn't appear. So if I click on somebody,
right, okay.
All I get is hide from broadcast, present to everyone, profile, and eject. That's all I get.
Yeah, he's having issues trying to get in. He's having to reboot his phone. This is the guy that's got the dumpy level. But yeah, he went to view some mountains from Sydney and he couldn't see them because obviously behind the curve on his eyes. For me, it's because he's got a bit of dirt in the sky, bit of dirty air. That's the obstruction. Just needs a clear enough day. Here he is. I don't think that's him.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Bet that's Tilly wanting some dinner.
It's Puppy being a knob. Well, her name's Corrie, but I call her. I can't get Puppy out of my head because she's been had it since she pup. Is Ruhif there?
Just more trolls.
The Hif of Rue, are you there? Right, he's saying it's a no-go, he gives up. Well, you're in the hangout room if we do see you.
Not got any audio, has he?
No, I don't think he's realised his audio's off.
Oh, more trolling.
Oh well.
Good working. We're trying to get a guest on. What do you want? That and batting off the trolls, of course.
Waiting for Jim Benson to turn up.
Him starting to
Come
the
on,
show
Jim
as ever.
Benson, in you come. Only 64 watching, Nath. Definitely dying.
I think so. It is a
Yeah.
slow start. I said it in the chat. It's because I put the link out really, really late and started the show a bit early. So the show only had a notification out for 5 or 10 minutes at the most before the show started. So yeah, just the usual. Share the show if you've not done so already.
There he is.
I reckon they've just got like a little program that runs that puts them in the same order every time. That's why they're in the same order.
No.
Somebody, force of habit, going down their list of troll accounts one at a time.
There's a friendly joining now, Nathan. So it's
Friendly?
flat. So don't kick him. Oops.
Got feedback. Got to kick him.
Ah.
Sorry, whoever you are, flat as.
So where's Arwin? We need Arwin so we can help watch the back door, because I'd like to do some presenting whilst there's a fresh panel of nobody in. Remind people that 18 miles is a lot of curvature on one particular video, and then now it's not there on the other.
I think he's still angry from yesterday.
Who's that? Oh, Arwin. Yeah, because he rage quit. Yeah, I've had to have words with Arwin and Nummy.
Why'd you bother? Leave them to it. I like their conversations in Skype. I know other people get annoyed.
you
Just
pissed
turn
me
off the
off.
notifications, and then you don't get the bell going every time they leave a message to each other in the group chat.
I know, but they piss me off when they're arguing with each other about nonsense that's like really rudimentary, like could be anything, who cares? It's like, concentrate on what we can prove wrong, not what you think it might be.
Oh, here we go. More trolls. Yeah, more power to them if they want to argue in the chat. More power to them.
Well. Oh well. So I guess there's still no evidence of R, still no curve, still no gravity. Wonder what is the requirement for satisfying yourself if you are indeed a baller that it is a ball. What is the requirements? Because it's like I've got to the point now where I can't even think about how it could be to satisfy me as a ball. Everything I see is flat.
Yeah, it's always going to come back to the same thing. It's very difficult to convince somebody they've been lied to. So if they've been lied to and you're trying to tell them they've been lied to, no one wants to feel like they're a fool, like they've been deceived, like they haven't had enough discernment to see it for themselves. So it's easy to just fight with it. That's what we see. I like the ones with the sort of the self-assured, cocky, you know, the Wiggles type characters that are like, well, this is so obvious. You know, let me just explain it to you. Clearly, you're retarded, and my simple explanation will be enough to keep you on the level. You'll know exactly what the shape of the Earth is if I just give you a simple explanation for it. Here you go. Here's a simple explanation. And you go, that's garbage, and here's why. And they kind of can't quite comprehend what's going on around them, because suddenly what they have held as true and obvious is being ripped a new one by what they formerly, moments earlier, thought to be complete morons. Oh, you morons think the Earth is flat. You'll be easy to defeat with simple logic. Look, boats go over the horizon. Isn't it obvious? No, not at all. But that's a shocker to people who just think, well, flat earthers are all idiots. Therefore, it'll be easy to defeat them with a simple argument.
Yeah, Alan Jakowski says, Sleeping Warrior, so you've just confirmed you have cognitive dissonance. No, it's not cognitive dissonance. You misunderstand either the phrase or the context that I was saying was. I'm saying that when I look out and all the evidence is now, I actually struggle with the ball earth evidence, the ball earth interpretation of the evidence. I have to actually think, right, if it was a ball, how would it look? That's not cognitive dissonance. It's just to realize that it never looks like a curve. And on the occasions it does, there are other explanations that are more obvious than, oh, it's curve. It's not cognitive dissonance that I'm suffering with. It's the inability to now see it as a ball anymore. I see it as flat.
Yeah, I've said this before as well, but if there was absolutely outstanding slam dunk globe proof, this panel would be inundated. And when the show started, this show started a few months back, that's what we got. Very self-assured people joining the panel saying, you guys are all morons, obviously this is the case, and then giving us their crap proof. Now, we sit most of the starts of these shows very calm and casual, just batting off trolls. People who've got absolutely nothing to assert about the shape of the Earth whatsoever, and just want to shut us down from saying, you've got no proof of your evidence. You've got no proof of anything to do with globe. It's just a religion. You've got no proof of eye, you've got no proof of gravity, you've got no proof of a vacuum next to a non-vacuum. None of this stuff is proven. None of this stuff has any decent evidence for it. All of it's based on presupposition. And the best thing we get to defeat those arguments is trolls joining. Just trying to shut us up. That's the best you can do. But yeah, like I say, if there was decent evidence out there, you would be in here ramming it down our throats on a daily basis. And
but not only would you be ramming it down our throats, you would all have the same consistent evidence because it would be all accurate all the way through. Yeah, it's fragmented because different people have got different strengths that they consider to be evidence and don't realise it's been debunked elsewhere in the debate. So they'll go in and present it. And it's embarrassing for the Rumpus because like he knows that the horizon is apparent, yet he still pushes it as a proof with a theodolite. And I'm like, why would you do that? How dishonest are you?
It is just down to dishonesty now.
Yeah. So,
or is it just literally because consensus says so? Consensus says this is a proof of globe. Go to the beach.
It is if you Dawn Treader. It is if you Ruhif. It is if you like what Tim would say is the low hanging fruit. But if you're the protagonists pushing it, then it's not. It's not. I mean, you hear Tim saying things that was like he used to say 12 months ago because he's going round in circles. Because there's new people in it now that haven't heard the debunks for them. Yeah, he still pushes his nonsense. Like, oh look, there's a curve. What's the obstruction? And it's like, yeah, the land in the foreground with the coyote on it is the obstruction, as it looks. Perspective is a thing. Please take a diopter of the moon. When? Now? I don't think I can see the moon actually. It's quite overcast today. It's lovely and warm, but it's quite muggy.
What do they need a diopter of the moon for?
I'm not sure.
Maybe it's because Dave Marsh was presenting it the other day. Good presentation that was. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was really good. That's another. Why does it speed up when it approaches perigee? Because it's supposed to. Why does it speed up when it leaves perigee? Because it's not supposed to. So, seems like it might be one of those shows today, Nathan. It's quite slow going.
Fine by me.
Oh, don't try to sing low-hanging fruit. I didn't mean it as an insult.
He did. Good to have you watching, Dawn. Nice to know that you flip-flopped around the very thing you're accusing me of being a liar about.
Yeah, so just in case anyone's not aware, Dawn Treader accused me. He asked me, am I not embarrassed on behalf of Nathan because Nathan's conflating the X curvature on the X-axis with the curvature on the Z-axis. And I'm like, no, he's right. And he said I was being dishonest and that Nathan was being dishonest and that we were conflating the terms dishonestly. But actually, it's supposed to be there according to the geometric size of the Earth. It's got nothing to do with what height you're at. It's supposed to be there if we live in a sphere. And according to Metabunk, it's observable and it's measurable in various ways. And when he saw that,
bit of a bummer if you were of the opinion, like Dawn, that you could look out at the horizon and accept without question that it's flat. But now he knows that there should be a measurable curve on it. It's like, well, maybe it's measurable by the pixel. Exactly the point we were making. Hey, Matrix, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Yo. Found any curve, Matrix?
Not yet.
Any gravity?
Nope.
Any examples where a pressurized system can exist next to a non-pressurized system without a membrane?
Only in the NASA universe.
Damn.
Yes, the show's become more flat Earth friendly, basically. So it used to be the case that it would be 8 out of the 10 participants, if there was 10 participants, on the panel would be Globers. And there'd be maybe you and I, and that would be it.
Yeah.
And that,
I think we're going to start having debates about, after flat Earth, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if it was already proven, after the fact? Like hypothetical debates or something like that.
Maybe we should start just strategically losing some arguments, Nathan, just like conceding so that they get a bit of confidence up and they can come back in and think that they can batter us still.
Well, I was more than happy for that to be the case with something like the most recent Isle of Man capture from you. I thought that's what that would turn into. Now, as it transpires, capturing Morgord Lighthouse is actually far easier than you might first think from the top of that hill. It's easy to replicate. Anybody can do that. But at the time that it was captured, it was when Anthony was at home several months after the fact. Somebody else, i.e. Ranty, has asked him for his footage while he was up there, gone through it and gone, this is interesting. Maybe we should look at this in more detail. And that's, you work with what you've got. Now, months later, we can all say, yeah, that's actually quite an easy capture. Getting on your belly at the beach and capturing the floaty land at 36 miles or whatever it is, that's hard. That's difficult. What Ranty's doing by going down to the beach day after day after day, trying to get underneath the refraction band with clear enough conditions, that's hard. I'm not going to suggest for 1 second that you only need to be able to go out and have a clear day to do that. With the Morgord Lighthouse, you could. But because it was just an everyday observation, it actually fit close enough to the maths that they could blag it and just say, oh, it only needs a slight adjustment to the maths for it to make sense. Yeah? And at the time, we didn't really understand, or I certainly didn't really understand, what a presuppositional argument was, what begging the question really is. To start with the Metabunk calculator, you've lost. As soon as you start going to the calculator, you're already presupposing you're on a sphere. You've already got an R value. You already know you're on a sphere based on that calculation. You know exactly how big it is. Then you go from there. So you've lost. As soon as you start using the Metabunk calculator, you're already into presupposing sphericity, which is terrible. But now we've moved past that. Now we're at the point that most of the arguments that come up, we recognise the presuppositional nature of them immediately, to the point where Ruhif, who's not dumb, comes in and thinks, I don't want this earache. I'd much rather disclose that I'm begging the question right away so I don't end up with an earful of, or a great big headache. Who wants that? Who wants a pain in the arse? Much better to just disclose it and then say, yeah, okay, I get it. I am presupposing the value of art in order to do this, and then confirm that my presupposition is correct. It's like, well, we can laugh at that and then listen to it. Yeah? But for the other Joes, the people I'm looking forward to coming in are the people like Wiggles, because it's really entertaining. When you flat smack somebody who comes in with a real arrogant attitude, like, presumably because they just assume we're idiots, and then realise that their arguments fall to pieces when put under any kind of scrutiny. Those are the people I want to come in when we're just chit-chatting about Liverpool or whatever, the cost of food, inflation, moans, grumpy old men stuff, and someone sees Flat Earth in the title and comes on, and suddenly everyone puts their game face on. As soon as the globe head who comes in and goes, are you lot for real? But if we've got constant globe attackers as opposed to normies coming in the show, like we did at the beginning, and they feel like they're in a winning position, they'll do what they did at the start, come in droves to tell us how stupid we are. What have we got now? Yeah, got Alan eating ice cream when he's put in a corner.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
So, Ruhif has sent me a request. He says, can you also ask people to send Ruhif photos where there should be X curve? Well, that's pretty much all the photos, Ruhif.
Yeah,
all the
of them.
photos ever taken,
Yes.
unless they're like really zoomed in, you're going to get X amount of curvature and it's measurable in a variety of ways. So I don't think you need people to send you photos. You could go and get them yourself, and then you could present them to us and show us your calculations of the blurry horizon that's got a pixel drop on one side, and then we'll tell you that it's because your camera wasn't level and laugh at how blurred it is.
And tell you it's your poor photography. Exactly.
And then point out how far, like how you didn't give us the date and time and the elevation of your thing, which will then put an arbitrary 30 meters variation on it just to bump it up a little bit, so then we can emphasize the curve that's supposed to be there, you know, like you did with me. And then we can just basically criticize you for everything.
He'd better have taken his barometer with him.
Yeah, and if we've not got the humidity and the temperature on both sides of the observation, and you know, a regular mile intervals for the pressure density changes between here and there, if we don't get that channel of all that information, we'll just dismiss it and laugh at you, you know, because that's what you guys do to me.
Yeah,
and to be honest, I've got to be honest, it bugs me when Ranty goes out and does this camera footage, right? And it's jerky, wobbly as hell, and no one says a word. When I go out and do it and I get it dead flat horizon, dead smooth, everyone comes back and just rips it apart. And I'm like, hang on a sec, look at Ranty's compared to mine. Mine's dead smooth, and you're all criticizing. Double standards.
It is. You see through the comments and everyone just praises Ranty. They just go, that's brilliant. That's awesome. Well done, Ranty.
Yeah.
Whereas you go out, you're on your belly, you're getting wet, you know, you get your tape measure out, you do your dioptra, and they're like, it's 10 feet that. That's what you get.
It's like they don't even give a they don't even care about the truth anymore.
No, they just want to try and find some reason to. And Ranty doesn't even put his GPS coordinates in or anything on his description or anything, and it's just accepted. And I'm like, hang on a minute, if I didn't do that, I'd get slaughtered.
Maybe people just think Ranty's more trustworthy than you.
Yeah, maybe he's just not. See, the thing is, Ranty doesn't poke people as much as I do. Shout out to Slice Barcane. I wouldn't have got that footage if it hadn't have been for Slice Barcane.
Don't forget Mark Taylor.
And Matt Taylor, yeah, Matt Taylor. He was another one.
Thanks, guys. It's because of you that we know about this refraction band and can see just how flat it really is from ground level on the beach.
Yeah, thanks, Sly.
The whole time, I mean, I've got to eat humble pie here. So I was telling you and Ranty, get higher. Get higher. Forget the presuppositional curve argument. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Just get better observations. See if you can see further. Get higher. And then both of you completely defied that and just got on your belly at the beaches. And you're like, if you hadn't have done that, if it wasn't for Sly and Mark, the protagonists, saying you can't do this, you probably wouldn't have done it.
No. And I'll be honest, I didn't think I could, because I know them waves block out what we see. So basically, as long as you can get above the cresting waves, then you can see further. So it depends on how big the waves are, obviously. But if the waves aren't too big and it's like it's a reasonably still day, yeah, we can see a lot of stuff that shouldn't be there.
Hey, Sarah, Sarah, this has nothing to do with blood over intent. This isn't the cult.
Yeah, I don't get how people can describe it as a cult. I mean, I don't associate with 90% of the flat earthers out there, mainly because they don't like me criticising kind of conspiratard stuff that they might say on their shows. So I normally get banned from people's chats. But I'm just an individual. I'd happily call myself a flat earther, but that doesn't make me anything. It just means I've realised the obvious nature of the world around me. That's it. It doesn't make me a part of a group. It doesn't make me anything. It just means that I've realised out the obvious. So what? You know, it doesn't make me special in any way. You know, being a YouTuber, on the other hand, you might get massive popularity. You might end up like PewDiePie and have worldwide fame. Doubt it, but you might. But not from knowing just from knowing the Earth is flat. You know, that's an individual thing that is obvious. If you're prepared to look at your surroundings, you know, if you're prepared to study it in detail, you'll confirm it, like Anthony and Ranty have done. To those of you who are just watching it on a video and going, well, that's satisfactory to me, fair enough. If that's good enough for you, fine. Hopefully this is providing some sort of evidence for those people. But realistically, it's far easier to just go out and observe the world yourself.
What I have noticed about flat earthers, and it's a bit of a dig, is that it's generally split. You're either a normal kind of guy that can have a conversation and you don't have to disagree with each other and fall out, or you're one of these idiots that takes everything dead personal and attacks if anybody disagrees with you. And ultimately, it's like I can see why a lot of people don't like the flat earthers, because the ones that are not particularly pleasant or polite or approachable or friendly generally tend to do us a bad service.
You shouldn't talk about Numpty like that. He's not here to defend himself.
Well, I'm not specifically talking about Nummy. I'm talking about the other half, because I watch.
Like
I lurk in chat in people's channels that I don't I don't really frequent in, and I just watch to see what people.
Come on, dish the names.
Nah, I'm not dishing names, but I just see people that are behaving badly as flat earthers, and I just think, yeah, you need to stay in here. Don't come out of this echo chamber. You're not the kind of person that I even want to talk to.
I'll ask them. Do you like Ute?
Yeah, he's ace.
Do you like John Watkins?
Yeah.
Multi Tom Tom?
Yep.
David Reed?
Not familiar.
What about non-standard refraction hyena?
Bit dodgy then. A little bit dodgy. No, these are people that I don't normally see. They're not people that I can relate to, but I see them saying things like, "Yeah, I think Patricia might be this, that, and the other." And the minute they start saying things like that, I just think, "Yeah, you're."
So people like Antonio.
Well,
I just don't understand, what does that have to do with the flat Earth? What is the relevance of that?
Nothing. It doesn't matter whether she is or isn't. It doesn't matter whether she was or
pointless.
wasn't. Yeah, it is.
And it doesn't. And just because she doesn't want, she or he doesn't want to share it with everyone, doesn't mean she's a liar. It's just her personal business.
Yeah, but people that think that it's okay to talk about that in the safety of somebody else's hangout, they're the people that are really bad.
That's like so personal. That's like almost humiliating this person, you know.
But to be honest, that's why Patricia's a star. Literally, she's one of the best people in flat Earth. But I actually think that a lot of people get the way that they are with her because they basically either want to be her or they want to know her. But
exactly. I think there's a lot of YouTubers that are pretty much angry. Probably they send her emails and stuff like that. You know, they get obsessed. Yeah. And then, you know, it sounds crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there's one particular guy. I'm not going to name him because I don't want to. Yeah. I don't want to add to the drama. But
does his first name start with an S?
No. But I cornered him privately, and I said, "What gives? Why would you talk like this? What difference does it make whether she was or was not? Whether she may or may not? Why is it even a factor?" And he was basically quite passive and quite apologetic. 2 days later, he's in the same chat, and he's like, "Yeah, I think she might be." And I'm like, "You're an idiot." So he's either a sheep following who he thinks is like a cult kind of person, or he's just an idiot. But there's a lot of people that are like that, and it's like, come on, guys, we're supposed to be on the same side. Why would you talk like that about people that you're supposed to be on the same side with?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as decorum for half of us in the flat Earth.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what you get with the conspiracy crowd there.
Only half of it, though.
Well, they don't trust anything. They don't believe anything's true, so it kind of makes sense.
Most of us realise there's a couple of common things that we all agree on. 9/11, most people realise that didn't go down the way we were told.
It feels to me like the same kind of judgmental system, like, you know, like the globe has used, you know what I'm saying? Like, do you have to be some sort of perfect individual to be some like a good flat earth or something? Is there some sort of criteria? You know what I'm saying?
I think they need to have a better level of decorum, generally. I mean, I'm not perfect myself. I lose my temper periodically, but I think that if you're finding that you have to engage in people's personal, in whatever way that might be, life, rather than looking at whether it's flat, curved, gravity, all that, that's kind of like, you're not the kind of person that Flat Earth really needs. We want people that are like focusing on the issues.
And it has nothing to do with the truth, so it's irrelevant. It doesn't move the cause forward.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why I like this show. I find a lot of pleasure in doing this, because the people who want to talk about this subject more than anybody are the Globe believers. Now, they don't agree with us, but they certainly want to talk about the subject.
So just comments in chat. The son of the astronaut says, this is rich coming from them. And who was the other one that I saw that was good? Saucy London. Ironic that you're calling for better decorum on Nathan's channel. Yeah, there's a difference when you're arguing in the heat of the moment and when you're just chatting about people's private lives in some way. I mean, in the heat of the moment, people actually, it's enjoyable in some respect.
Hey, Jose.
Yo.
Hey.
Yo.
Good to have you.
Morning. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
Hey, buenos dias.
Dos de befa, por favor.
Ha. Awesome.
Alan, is that your real voice?
Is that your real voice?
It is. Unfortunately for you.
You should end every sentence with poems.
Okay. But is it really, is that your picture?
No, that's not my picture.
I'm not accusing you of anything. It sounds real fun. It sounds like you're making, some sort of animation character voice.
Animation character?
Yeah, something like that. Like sometimes you speak and you sound different.
You saying I'm a cartoon?
I'm saying you making a voice like a cartoon. And again, I'm not accusing you of anything. You just might not want to show the people your real voice, I guess. You know.
No idea what you're talking about.
All right.
Poems.
Cool story, bro.
I was just going to ask whether was in chat. I was just seeing someone referencing him, but I can see him.
Shout out to Dawn Treader.
No, shout out to Dawn Treader retracted.
Shout out to M. Scott Speech.
The son of the astronaut.
To Mr. Rude Flat Earther. To Was. Saucy London.
Nathan, you back?
Me? I haven't gone anywhere.
Oh, I thought you said 2 minutes from now-ish. Have you been and gone?
No, we'll have a maybe 5-ish, maybe 10 minutes break, just so I can make a cup of coffee. I haven't actually got a screaming sprog. She's asleep, so it won't be a very long break. But yeah, the show will have a short break. If you're in the chat, you don't need to go anywhere. The chat stays the same. The live feed will just restart.
M. Scott Veach is pulling the victim card, Nathan. Leave my family alone, Riley, he says. Yeah. Well, will you let us know when you are going? When we're off?
Where does he think he is? Does he think he's in a chess forum, or in a forum that absolutely categorically disagrees with everything his dad stands for and subsequently he stands for and perpetuates?
Oh, not this again.
Well, he's telling us he's pulling the victim card.
I don't think he is pulling the victim card. I think he's actually being facetious. I think he knows better not to pull the victim card in his status as being the astronaut's son. The irony would be too unbearable for most of us to accept.
I'm surprised they haven't started a conspiracy about you, Tony, with your dad being a Mason.
Well,
is your dad a Freemason?
He's a retired cop. So by default, I suppose it probably means that he is, but I've never seen any evidence of it.
Well, if he was a Freemason, you'd know about it, right? You'd just be going to the meetings and stuff when you were a kid.
Yeah, I mean, the worst thing my dad does is go to church. He still does go to church.
If he was
Do we
a Freemason,
actually know
I'm pretty
anything
sure
about the Masons? Other
if
than
he was a Freemason, you'd know
paranoia?
about it. So if you're prepared to say, I don't think he's a Freemason, then I'm willing to accept that. I wouldn't think he was like cloak and dagger about it.
My dad's one of those people that has one of those fishes stuck to the back of his car when he's floating around. Now, if you're a Mason, don't you have some kind of triangle or something like that? You have completely the opposite symbol.
Skull and crossbones.
Yeah, a black flag. Yeah, my dad's definitely. I don't think my dad's
around advertising it or not, but I'm just pretty certain that if a family member was a Mason, at some stage you'd find out about it, especially if it's a direct relative you live with. Yeah,
my dad doesn't even swear, man. He's dead placid and gentle-natured. I don't know whether that fits the MO of a Mason, but he certainly doesn't behave like he's a Mason.
Masons
And
are just regular folk.
I've never once heard him refer to going to the lodge or anything like that. It's always been church, Bible study, prayer group.
Did you see him go in the church though, Tony?
Yeah, I got dragged there when I was a kid, didn't I?
Didn't we all?
Yeah.
No.
Ask Scott Veach what's on his daddy's car, Sleeping Warrior. Scott Veach, what's on daddy's car?
And with that, I think I'm going to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. If you hated the show, you know what to do. But if you liked it, consider sharing it. Maybe subscribe if you've not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!